Started. Hi everyone. So this is our week one. There's some background noise coming from. Okay, so this is week one, our first Zoom call. Congrats, making it, thus far.
You made it through your first day, so
yeah, exactly. You're still here. Yeah, so Lian and I will kind of just overview what the week one is all about, answer some of your questions, and kind of go with the flow. Lian, you wanna maybe start the conversation and go from there?
Yeah, absolutely. So just want to make sure, first of all, that everyone is making sure that they're getting enough sodium this week. That's really important. You want to make sure you have enough electrolytes, so just keep that in mind. I'm not sure how many of you have been able to read through the program guide. So you can do little things like the electrolytes. I just want everyone to be aware that having too many electrolytes can be just as bad as having not enough. So don't have more than 2 packets a day of the electrolytes. You can have fermented foods that I mentioned. There's no limit on.
Sorry, Lian, is 2 packs a day what we should be doing?
Up to 2 packets. You cannot have more than 2 packets a day, because then you can potentially have too many electrolytes. Even though you're losing more sodium, right, as you're fat adapting, I still don't, there's other electrolytes in there, so I don't want you to have more than 2 packets per day. And you can spread it out through the day, if that's the route you choose to do. So the answer is no, you don't have to have the actual electrolyte packages. You can choose to do it with the fermented foods. Or you can
explain, why electrolytes matter.
Sure, go ahead.
During this week.
Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, so the sodium is very important, right? You're going to be losing more as you go along. And of course, the electrolytes are very important. They're a part of all your nerve function, right? So they're very important for the signals. What I was trying to point out is just that we don't want to overdo the electrolyte packets, but if you can do maybe 1 packet and then a combination, if you like any of the fermented foods, that would be wonderful as well. The miso soup, for those of you who like pickles, just make sure that they're refrigerated and that they are fermented with salt, not vinegar, because if they're fermented with the vinegar, they will not have the live bacteria, the good probiotic. And things like kimchi and sauerkraut. Yogurt can be helpful as well. Just make sure that it says active or live culture on it. Keep in mind that yogurt doesn't have a fair amount of sodium. So if you're going to use yogurt, that's great. It gives you, a good amount of protein, but it's not going to be your sodium source. So then you'd have to add something else. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with umeboshi paste. Again, that's just something that's it's a Japanese plum that's been fermented, and it works really well in soups and stews and things like that. Instead of putting a lot of salt into it, it's a fermented form, so it still has the sodium, but it's much healthier. And you just dilute it in your broth if you make a homemade bone broth or any chicken noodle soup or stews that you make. Even outside of the program, it's a great little addition. You can get it at most grocery stores, so that works as well. And of course, miso soup works really well.
Can I ask a few questions on yogurt?
Sure.
I was quite surprised. I was eating Liberty yogurt, 0 fat, lactose free, plain. I was eating a lot of it because it's a fast way to eat protein, and it's so delicious. But I was surprised that there was carbohydrates. There's no sugar.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but it's okay on the program. You're allowed to have it. If you try the oikos, is a good one. It's a high protein. It'll give you 19 grams per 3/4 cup.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then is kombucha a good fermented food, or?
Kombucha, you just have to be careful. It has more sugar, like it's just more in it, and you have to be really careful. It's one of the fermented products that, they try to you get a little bit tricked. You think you're having something healthy, but not so much.
Okay. Even if I find zero sugar.
Yeah, if you find a very healthy source, it's okay. Just don't want to have too much. Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
So,
Leanne, can you, sorry,
So who's it?
this is Ronnie speaking.
Oh, hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
I just wanted to ask you about, while we're talking about yogurt,
Sure.
is there a specific fat content that you would suggest we get both with yogurt and with cottage cheese?
Yeah, the full fat, 2% or full fat is best. I wouldn't suggest the fat-free. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think on page, I have it here. I'll just tell you which page it's on. Yeah, on page 35, you can just make a note. We've got the Oikos as well as Organic Meadows. Those are two good brands because they're higher in protein. And you can get the full fat ones with them. And they don't contain sugar. Yeah, you're welcome.
yeah. So guys, the whole
Yes.
purpose of week 1 is to change our metabolism from primarily relying on carbs, glucose for energy to fat. So this is, electrolytes and sodium is part of this adaptation. It's a very, very important part. Don't underestimate it. So what happens once we eat in low carb, our insulin goes down. But insulin holds to sodium in the blood. So it will affect our sodium and potassium levels in the blood. And you might feel a little bit, hypertension, like your heart might be like what's the word is, like beat fast, right? You might have a little bit foggy brain, or they have it, call it keto flu. Very often, more often than not, it's just you low on sodium. So the quick fix, if you feel those symptoms, take a little pinch of salt and just, drink it with water or something, right? But generally speaking, first, like today and tomorrow, you still have quite a bit of glycogen left in your liver. Liver holds about a couple days worth of glycogen. But so you're going to be okay. You're going to start feeling, so maybe by day 3, 4, 5. That's where, your glycogen level in the body goes down. And now we're shifting to relying on fat. And that transition, takes time. So it's super important to do that transition right, because it will make a huge difference from you feeling amazing to feeling, very crappy. So this is why, particularly during this week, try not to cheat. Try not to consume anything that carbs and sugar. Bare minimum. The less you do, the better off, because what's going to happen, let's say you've been depleting the liver of glycogen. So the glycogen level pretty low. And then you're like, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to have something that will accidentally have 20, 30 grams of sugar. So what's going to happen? You're going to replenish some of that, right? So you're going to slow down the fat oxidation and production of those ketone bodies, which is byproduct of fat oxidation, which is the fuel source for our organs, for the brain, and so on and so forth. So don't cheat, particularly during this once. Well, we're not going to cheat during this program, but this is the crucial week. And so the whole purpose of this week, again, is that fat adaptation. It's not about losing fat right now. It's not about losing weight. It's about changing your metabolism to rely on fat. And you will see sometimes by the end of the week, most people experiencing towards the end of the week, or like in the beginning of second week, you're going to start feeling differently. All of a sudden, you have this momental energy, clarity. Your energy is going to be more level. All those are great signs of your basically now getting fat adapted, right? And then we're going to discuss more the following weeks. But those are the things to watch for. Your sodium going to go down. So make sure that, I shared in the Slack a good brand called Element. You can buy it on Amazon. Maybe Jan has other suggestions. But that one pure doesn't have any sugar. So have those electrolytes ready. You don't have to drink them, but just have them, I guess. If you're getting it from food, that's fine. Go, I'm not heavy, but within the parameters on high quality extra virgin olive oil, avocados, walnuts, because those are the healthy parts that help you to fat adapt fast. So don't worry about the weight right now. It's about making yourself fat adapted. Once you fat adapted, essentially, you can use this analogy. There's one of those huge trucks that deliver, gas to the gas stations, right? So this truck goes on the highway, and then it runs out of gas because that little tank doesn't have gas anymore. But meanwhile, there is, millions, calories of energy at the back, but you don't have access to it. So this is same happens to us when we're not fat adapted. right? And when we run out of glycogen, we don't have access to all these stored hundreds of thousands of calories stored in energy and fat in us. So the purpose of this week is to turn that valve on. So now your body knows how to tap and use fat for energy. So in the beginning, we're going to help it by priming it with dietary fats, like, healthy fats from, as I mentioned, olive oils, walnuts, and so on. But then gradually the following weeks, we're going to start reducing those. We will discuss it later. But this is, kind of just the key points to keep in mind. Lian, did I miss anything?
No, I was just going to say, this is why, the first week you're having the 2 tablespoons of olive oil with every meal and the 2 servings of healthy fats. So once we're fat adapted, week 2, we're going to reduce that to 1 tablespoon of olive oil per meal and 1 additional serving of healthy fat. Andre's right. The walnuts are great. I also like the almonds. They have calcium, and pumpkin seeds are very high. These are, some of the best seeds also have a good amount of protein in them. So if you have the 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds, you're going to get 9 grams of protein, right? So if you look at for you, page 36. So basically page 34 to 39, you're going to have some breakdown. So if you look at the almonds are going to give you 6 grams per ounce, as well as cashews, and then walnuts will give you 4 grams per ounce. So if you start with and sort of look at, okay, I have to have 2 healthy fats with each meal, and you pick those, you're going to get anywhere between 6 and 12 grams of protein off the bat, right out of the way. And then if you look at your 2 to 3 grams, if you look at your 2 to 3 servings of vegetables, you can get 6 to 12 grams of protein if you choose wisely, and a lot of fiber. So then if you're a female and you're getting 60 grams of protein per meal, you really now are just looking at 40 grams when you look at sort of your animal or your plant-based protein, right? If you can get those out of the way. I don't know if that helps people, but I know that a few of you were struggling to get to 60 today, right? Or 70. So right there, when you account for your 2 to 3 servings of vegetables, your healthy fats, you can get up to 20 grams there.
Sorry,
and then
can I just ask, is this the right one that I was talking about?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you can have up to 2 of those. It actually even says on the box, do not have more than 2 per day.
And you can do that with, like, it says like the chocolate one, you can do that like in a little bit of milk, or does it have to be water?
So you're going to have your 2 meals, and in between those 2 meals, you're not going to have any extra calories from food. So you can do it right. So
With
you would,
meals. I was thinking with meal.
sure. So that's entirely fine. Yeah.
I have a question. Andre, back to what you were talking about in terms of how we will feel. Did you say that around day 3 or 4 that we might feel a little bit funny this week? Like feeling good? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So, everybody adapts at different rate, right? Some people might take weeks, and they're still not fully adapted. Some people I've seen get adapted in 3 days. So it all depends. It's basically the faster we get rid of the glycogen from the system, and what gets rid of the glycogen? Well, low carb diet and exercise, particularly the intense one. Speaking of intense one, I had a client. She was wearing one of those continuously monitoring glucose monitors, the one you put on the arm, connected to the app. She did a workout, and she came back and saying her blood sugar after the workout went down kind of in the low zone. She generally eats pretty low carb already, and she said it stays low the entire day. So, intensive exercise is great for dumping that glycogen of the system, which will facilitate much faster adaptation, which is, like doing strength training session like our way is amazing. High intensity interval training will speed up that process as well. Yeah. And then, just no cheats, like very important.
Yeah.
As I said, high healthy fats, no cheats this week. Once you get fat adapted, once you feel good, go through this, get out of that hole of being kind of feeling funny, you will see it was worth it.
And walking after meals, if you can, guys, in between workouts is also very helpful.
So is that a specific walking versus anything else?
Sorry, Mikkel, is that you?
Oh, no, that was Eileen. Sorry, up here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, what?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is it specifically walking as the exercise that helps that you need to do, or some other type of exercise? It should just be walking.
Strength training is great. Okay.
Right. But I mean,
And-
you said after meals.
So going for a nice walk, 15, 20-minute walk is great after a meal. Helps with digestion, helps with your metabolic rate. Just that'll be very helpful as well. Yeah. Judy?
Hi, Leanne. Sorry, I'm not familiar with
That's
Zoom, so I'm looking for my little hand I'm supposed to put up. Andre just said that we can't have cheese this week. Does that also go towards the cottage cheese?
Oh, you can have cheese. I don't think he.
Oh, sorry, Andre. What did you say?
You probably didn't
Oh, no
understand through my accent. I probably meant something else.
You probably said no cheating.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
cheating, no cheating. Exactly. That's
Exactly what
exactly what it is.
Okay. Now, does wine go under the title of cheating?
Why
No,
isn't
no.
wine a fermented fruit? Hold on, wine is fermented grapes, right?
I don't know. I have not heard anyone say it yet. I haven't heard the words be said yet.
No alcohol.
No alcohol. Okay.
Celebrate at the end with it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Mayada. So nice to see you. It's nice to see
Nice to see you too. So nice to be here.
Yeah, nice to see you back. It's nice to see familiar faces, guys. So
Yeah, there are a few of you guys that already did it last year. There is,
Yeah.
so
Who was the couple last year?
Oh, yeah, they're not here.
Oh,
But Mitch is here.
yeah,
there's Melanie, there's Mitch, Chris,
Alexandra.
Alexandra,
Alexandra.
Mayada, all those guys did it. They are the graduates, and they're doing it again.
You have to think of it. It's essentially it's like spring cleaning. It's like dusting, getting rid of the cobwebs. Getting your metabolism flexible and efficient once or twice a year. It's yeah. So it's glad to see. I'm glad to see you guys back. How are you doing?
I found the little hand. I want to know where it is.
Okay, so I think is it under more, Andre? I'm not
It's
sure.
under the
Reactions.
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 I
Oh,
don't
there-
even have that.
It's in the middle. If you go down to the bottom of your screen.
Oh, summary? No. Okay, don't worry. I'll figure it out. If I didn't know Zoom had it, so that's fine. Thank
No.
you.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Now, does
no, sorry, I'm good.
No, I was just going to ask if anyone has any other questions just about ensuring that they're getting their 60 to 70 grams of protein just before.
Yes, Leanne, this is Ronnie again. I wanted to ask you about canned proteins. So I understand that having fresh protein is always better, but is there any issue with having, let's say, canned chicken breast or canned tuna as a protein?
There's absolutely no restriction on that, Ronnie. I just tried to, in an ideal world. So there's always good, better, and best, right? So in an ideal world, you're going to have natural, live, and good quality. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I would just, the only thing I would say about the tuna is just not to overdo it just because of the mercury and aluminum, right?
how are you?
Which is a
I'm
different.
good.
Oh, someone's got me.
Yeah, we need to mute Alexandra. She's a troublemaker.
the other question I had was
We can hear you.
as far as Slack is concerned, has that been activated?
Ronnie, is that you again?
Yeah, I was asking if Slack has been activated.
It has, yes.
Yes. So this is what I wanted to say about Slack. You all
Yeah.
guys been invited. I'm sure I sent email to all. I connected, send invite to all of you. Sometimes with couple clients, it went to your spam folder. Like check your spam folders. Like when basically from the moment you confirm that you're gonna do the challenge, I added you to Slack. So just have a look through the spam folders and look for it. If you don't find it, let me know. And then I will figure out how to re-invite you.
So Ronnie, you're here. I see you on the Slack.
Right.
So that means I'll send you the invite, but just check your spam folder. Maybe it went there, the invite.
Yeah, I may be there, but I just can't find the invitation. I'll look for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. No worries. Yeah. Okay. So what I was just saying, you understood what I was saying just about the canned tuna and things like that, right? Okay. Sure. Alexandra, is that your hand up? She has her hand up, but oh,
Hey, hi.
how are you doing?
Hi. Hi. Good. Good. So I have a question about this tuna. I can't figure out how to calculate, not tuna, sorry, salmon. I can't figure out how to calculate the amount of salmon, because there's a fair amount of liquid in it. So I know, like, it just says, like, for example, I just sort of did an
Is it
approximate amount.
okay?
But I notice, and I eat it fairly often, I'll throw it in a salad, and today I just added yogurt afterwards. But I'm
Okay.
actually I'm a tiny bit hungry, and I think that's unusual. So I measured my yogurt, but I might have not had enough of this. It says here for a quarter, so it says 55 grams is whatever, 13 grams. But I don't know if they're including the water content. And then, you have the total amount of grams in the can. So I just kind of multiplied and reduced a little bit in my mind. But if I'm getting a hunger signal at around this time, could it be that there's not enough protein in here as I thought?
No, they wouldn't calculate it's in water, not oil, right? So what does,
It's in water, and it says with skin and bones, wild pink salmon.
yeah. So you can just use the protein calculation on the container.
Okay.
Yeah, that should
Okay.
be fine. It might just be day one and I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure what you ate today.
Well,
But
I don't get that I'm full feeling as fast as everyone else does, unfortunately. I'm jealous of everyone. So I think, like, I just had a big salad with enough fats, probably way more than I need. And then I had the yogurt and the salmon. That's it. So
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little.
Well, your yogurt, your yogurt, if you used one of the ones that we talk about, it's going to have between, right. So you're going to have 20 grams of protein, right? Or more.
Yeah.
So,
But, like, I'm not having like if I had a lot of, like, broccoli and, I don't know, cucumbers and more, I don't know, something more to chew on, you know what I mean? I might not be as hungry, but I don't always get around to getting everything organized. So
yeah.
just wondering, I just wish I was, like, I'm dreaming of my dinner already.
Yeah. Well, I know there's quite a few people here who felt very, very full today after their meals. So you've been doing this for a while, right? You've sort of adapted to this way of eating as well. So, yeah.
Lian, another common question will come up during this week is some people will be experiencing a bit of constipation. Do you want to more like address it, talk a little bit about it?
Yes, so that's what I was sort of saying a little bit at the beginning. You want to make sure that you're getting your 2 to 3 servings of vegetables with each meal. Okay, that's going to have some additional water in the vegetables. It's going to have lots of fiber that's going to help you stay regular. Starting in week 2, you're going to have a serving of fruit if you choose. Raspberries are the highest of the berries in fiber. Kiwis are helpful as well. If you choose as your healthy fats, some nuts or seeds, that is really helpful as well, right? Some more fiber. And making sure that you're drinking enough in between the meals. Because if you don't have enough water in your large intestine, you're not going to be able to be regular. It's going to be difficult. It's transitionary, guys. It's not permanent. But when you start having more protein, more healthy fats, if you're not used to it, you just want to make sure that you're doing the things that I just mentioned. The other thing is you can have a little bit of magnesium citrate if you need to, and even some psyllium husk with one of your meals. The thing with the psyllium is you want to make sure that you're having enough water to go along with it, right? You don't want to have too much fiber and get bound up and then not have enough liquid, water coming through. Okay, so those are really important. And the fermented foods are very helpful as well. Yes, they have fiber, but they're also probiotics, right? So they're live bacteria. So they contain digestive enzymes. So they actually help you break down your food. And so the quicker you break down your food, the quicker it transmits, right? Through your intestines. So those are all very helpful.
Leanne, so psyllium is okay. So as you answered me, I think this morning, Metamucil at meal time when I break the fast is okay if it's non-sugar, no sugar.
Yes, just make sure there's no sugar, dextrose, or those sort of things that equate to sugar in them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just didn't want you to have it, Martin, before, you know, I want you to have it with one of your meal times.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. And then just to clarify a couple of other questions before we move on, a lot of people were asking me about having a protein shake after their workout. So that's only if you cannot have your meal within, you know, 1.5 to 2 hours after your workout, preferably an hour and a half. So if you cannot have one of your meals within an hour and a half of your workout, you should have a protein shake. And you want to get about 40 grams of protein. So that could be 1.5 scoops, it could be 2 scoops, depending on your protein shake. But in that instance, because it's not technically a meal, just put ice and water with the protein powder. Don't add milk or other things that you would normally add to it if it were part of one of your meals. Does that make sense? Okay.
And the reason for this,
Protein then for dinner?
Pardon me?
Say you have your workout at 4 and you have a protein shake and then you go home and 2 hours later you're having dinner. Do you eat less protein at that meal?
no.
No.
So if you're, Allison, if you're going to be able to have your dinner within 2 hours of after your workout, then just wait and have your dinner.
Okay.
Now, the protein, you can have a protein shake as part of your meal. And in that case, then you could add milk and berry or whatever you wanted to add to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a
just
question related to that. I exercise in the morning around 7 on a Peloton every morning. So I'm not going to have protein within the 3 hour or 2 hour window. It won't be until 12.
Right.
Is that okay, or should I move my workout routine?
well, that's that's the question. How intensive are your Peloton session? It's just like a casual ride for half an hour, or you actually go like high intensity interval sort of intensity?
It's most of the time high intensity. Yeah.
High intensity. Yeah. So I don't know. Good question. Because you'll be losing some muscle if you're not going to eat protein. So
then the answer, Martin, is you should have a shake. And instead of putting milk or anything else like that in it, just put water and ice.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be able to have your first meal within 2 hours of it.
But then I would not be intermittent fasting, correct?
Correct, but we don't want you to lose any lean muscle tissue. So the only time you break the two rule, right, is if you're working out and you're not able to have one of your 2 daily meals within, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why Andre was asking you if it's, you know, high intensity, if you're just, you know.
Yes. So this is the science behind it. The reason, basically, when we, you know, sleep, we fast, right? So a muscle in this catabolic state, which has been broken down. When we work out, we're breaking down even more muscle. So if you're not gonna eat after, you know, intensive workout and fasting before that, you will be in a negative muscle balance, right? You'll be breaking down more muscle than building up. So that's why, you know, if you're gonna eat within an hour or two, that's fine. Wait and eat, and you'll be fine. It will balance out. But we don't want to, because there will be quite a bit of, you know, fasting later on in this program. We don't want your muscle to be too catabolic. You know, it will be catabolic periodically, but then anabolic when we eat, right? But you want it to be, we want to maintain the muscle tissue. Therefore, you know, we're saying have a protein shake after your workouts for that reason. And generally speaking, when we do eat, you know, we are eating at the higher end of the protein intake, what our muscles, you know, and body can absorb more or less, to make sure that, you know, we don't end up, you know, losing weight, and then 20% of this weight comes from lean tissue by the end of the program. We want to avoid it.
So Martin, you know, several times every time we run the program, there are several clients who work out very early in the morning. And I advise them to have a shake after their workout or their run, and it's fine. And then they go back to the two days a meal, intermittent fasting in between, and they're seeing the same results. They're losing the fat, right? Their blood markers are balancing out, inflammation comes down, and they're maintaining their lean mass. So I don't want you to be worried about it. Just don't add anything else to it, just the ice or the water. And the reason is so you're mainly getting the amino acids that you need so that you don't lose any lean muscle, and you'll be fine.
Because during the workout, you're oxidizing those amino acids. So you need to replenish them, not to.
Yeah, your body's constantly, it's a cycle, right? It's not static, it's fluid. So your body's constantly breaking down proteins and making new ones, or recycling and repurposing and reusing them. So we need to make sure that you're not in the negative.
Okay.
Okay. Ariella, do you have a question?
I have two questions. So, I don't like yogurt and a lot of like stuff like that, fermented food. So I actually got a probiotic like capsule. Is that okay to?
That's great. Absolutely.
Okay. And my other question is, you and I were chatting earlier today, Leanne, and we talked about like some enzymes. And I'm not sure which ones to get.
Yeah, I can, so there's a couple of options that you have. So when you start, as I mentioned, when you start having more protein and healthy fats, initially it can be a transition. So you can get something called keto enzyme, which is available on Amazon. It's in your guide. Not sure of the page off the top. I think it's page 16 or something like that. But keto enzyme, you can buy that on Amazon. Okay. And that will help you break down the fats and the protein and also the low carb. If there are any of you, I haven't seen anyone yet, but if someone has had their gallbladder removed, then just send me a private message and I would recommend a different brand at that point. Because at that point you need bile salts. So you need some ox bile to break down the fats in addition. Ronnie, did you have a question?
Yes. In one of the emails, I think from Andre, he suggested that we do some measurements, and I wasn't of our body, just to see the difference between before and after. And I may have missed it in the documentation, but is there some kind of a guide as to what and how we should measure?
So at our university location, we have a device is called InBody. It's one of those more common ones that scans your body and gives you a breakdown of your body compositions, including lean tissue, fat tissue, segmental, by body parts, hydration, and so on. It's only at university location, right? So if I would recommend doing it, but somehow we need to, I'll be there on Sunday, for example, maybe sometimes this week is good to do it. I know you're not going to be there this week, but we need to figure it out. Or you can just Google InBody near me. There's lots of services that, you can just pay whatever, 50, 60, I don't know how much they charge. And you can just go do the measurements. Or, find way where I'm at university. Like I'm going to be there tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m. just sitting there, waiting for you guys to come into the measurements, right? If you want to do those. Speaking of which, it's better to do those base measurements after you've been on low carb diet for 2, 3, 4, 5 days or so. Why? Because all of those scans, they will interpret like water in your muscle as lean tissue. So basically, glycogen, which is that's how we store glucose, carbs in the body, one molecule of glycogen holds 3 molecules of water. So as we're depleting glycogen, from our system, from lean tissue, we're also depleting water. So in the beginning, when you do it, when you've been eating carbohydrates and your muscles and lean tissue is full of glycogen, it's gonna show that you have perhaps, more lean tissue, less fat tissue, proportionally. But after going low carb for 2, 3, 4, 5 days to do the measurement, it's going to show you that you have less lean tissue and more fat tissue. So when we compare you at the end of the program, the end results, you're going to be pretty depleted by glycogen by then. So if you want to compare, apples to apples, it's better to do the measurements after you've been eating low carb for, that 2, 3, 4, 5 day window, and then do the measurements, right? Because then they will be more comparable. Otherwise, it's not going to be 100% accurate, in my opinion.
So tomorrow may be a little bit too early.
Well, but that's the only time I can do it. I'm living the life of a single parent this week, so this is the evening like I can be there and I can take care of it.
He's on double duty.
Yeah, and another time I'm gonna be there Sunday around 10 a.m. So those ones who couldn't make it, during the week, didn't do it and available, come on Sunday around 10 a.m. and I can do the measurements.
And should we set that up with you in advance?
No, just tell me that, send me note something, yeah, you're gonna be there, I'll just wait for you around 10 a.m. on Sunday.
Okay, I just have one final question, I think. In terms of the protein powder or shake, I have quite a bit of something called Lean Fit organic based protein, which has 21 grams of protein per I guess per whatever, and 0 sugar. Is that okay to use?
Yes, that's perfect. It's actually on our list in the package.
All right.
As an option. I mean, Andre has whey isolate protein, which is great, but for those of you who want a plant-based, it's the #1 choice.
Andre, do you have them back in stock yet?
It's coming this week, end of the week.
Okay, can you grab one for me and I'll pick it up from you and all that stuff? Thank you.
So, I mean, just as an example, guys, if you get stuck with a meal, life happens, 2 scoops of protein shake powder and a cup of milk is going to give you about 9 grams, right? You're basically at 50. Now, it's not something I recommend you do all the time or every day, but just want to give you an idea.
What milk replacement can we use if we don't want to use cow milk?
If you don't want to use cow milk, I would recommend an organic unsweetened soy milk because that's going to give you about 9 grams of protein. If you were to use an almond milk, you're only going to get maybe 1.5 grams of protein and it's highly processed. And I don't recommend oat milk at all because it will spike your blood sugar and it's got no protein.
Okay.
So in an ideal world, Martin, you would make what you can do if you have a blender, if you're up for it, is you can take, cashews and just soak them in water overnight and then rinse them, throw them in the blender and fill it with water and blend it for about 3-4 minutes and you have cashew milk. Okay. And that's without having, a nut milk maker like almond cow.
Yeah.
Deal with cloth. That's a very simple way to do it.
That over buying cashew milk?
Absolutely, because it doesn't have the carrageenan and the filler and all the processed. It's very clean. Yeah.
I got another question about snacking. So 2 meals, I get it. Can I do 2 meals, a hit of protein in the afternoon and then the nighttime meal? Is that okay?
No, it's 2 meals.
2 meals, no snacking. One of the reasons is the part of this program is that rejuvenation and repair, right? You want your organs to have complete break from any calories, for a substantial amount of time, right? To do all that repair that it needs to do and just get rest. That's why, you have that meal. In what time frame should they finish that meal? Is it half an hour, 1 hour? What's the
ideally about a half an hour, right, guys? In an ideal world, you want to eat within about a half an hour, 40 minutes tops.
And that's it.
You want to graze over your meal for 2.5 hours.
And what's going to happen as people experience it, and that's going to be true for the duration of this program, is protein is the most saturating macronutrient of the 3. It really keeps you full and saturated for a long time. So if eating your 70 grams, which you recommend for males, you shouldn't be hungry. And particularly if you add some, fiber from the vegetables and healthy fats, you shouldn't be hungry. Like it's going to last. It's going to keep you saturated for a long time.
Yeah, Martin, what Andre's saying is accurate. So once you become fat adapted and your body gets used to the high protein, the good high fat, you're going to be satiated. You should not feel hungry in between. It's very different than probably how you're currently eating, because the the gut.
It's
and
out of it's out of boredom most of the time. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. I'm bored at work. I just want to do something, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
go
It's
watch some YouTube on the phone or something.
Yeah, it's a good break for your body, right? All those metabolic processes that your body has to do, it's a lot of work. So your body needs the break. So this is one of the reasons.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question before I go? Because I have to hop off for another meeting.
Sure.
Okay, so you ate lunch, got through it. It's dinner time. It's like 5:30 and you're not hungry. You eat, right?
Yeah. We still need you to eat.
Suck it up and eat through it.
Pardon me?
You just suck it up and eat. Like tonight, for example, I made salmon and broccoli
Mhm.
and I looked at it and I was like, and that's not me. And Dre knows I love to eat, but I wasn't hungry. It took a lot to get through that meal.
Did you feel after, I mean, I know what you ate with your first meal because we
I had a lot.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were digesting it okay? Like, in other words, by the time dinner
Yeah,
rolled-
I just wasn't hungry. Like I've been doing a bit of intermittent fasting already for the past couple of months, so my body doesn't have that shock that I used to always get when I used to start, but I know I'll get used to it, but like for the beginning, I just wanted to know, do I just suck it up and eat the meal anyways?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want you to lose any lean muscle. We need you to fat adapt. So we need you to have the good fat so you can fat adapt, right?
Right.
So it's important. I think that sometimes trying to get your 60 grams with eggs can be difficult. There's ways to do it where you sort of get maybe half your calories from eggs. I think that was part of it today as well.
And I believe from what people were applying in the past is in those situations they would use something like fairly easy to get, you know, through your throat. It's like cottage cheese, right? You know, it's very soft. You know, it has all the proteins that you need. You know, there's versions to make it flavorful, and it's, you know, if you're not super hungry, just that's kind of your meal, right? Add a few things, and you're getting all the proteins and all the rest that you need. Right.
Yeah, no, Andre's got a great suggestion. It's just with Ariella, we're not doing dairy right now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's okay. So just edamame is great as well. It's high in protein. And guys, things like hemp seeds, right? So if you're making a salad or you're making a dish, just even if you use as, you know, you're allowed to have seeds and nuts. So 1 serving of seeds is an ounce, but that is a lot of seeds unless you're having pumpkin seeds. But if you're having hemp seeds and you're not, or if you're having a chia, I guess if you're having a chia pudding, that would be sufficient. But let's say, for example, you were just having a salad or a meal, you could do half nuts and half seeds. So you could do half an ounce of nuts and half an ounce of seeds, and half an ounce of hemp seeds is a good amount of protein, right? So always try and sprinkle things like that on your food, and it just saves you from getting that extra 5 grams of protein, right? For those of you who can have dairy, cottage cheese is one of the easiest ways. If you look in the recipes under the sweet foods, I have some dessert cups, and you're going to get 30 grams of protein, like Andre was saying, with 1 cup. And you can put cocoa and stevia in them, and it tastes like chocolate mousse. Or you can put some stevia in some, you know, your serving of berries starting from week 2 and blend it up. It's delicious. It tastes like a raspberry mousse or something like that. For those of you who aren't having dairy, then perhaps you could look at a little bit of organic tofu, right? So that's going to give you a big hit of protein as well. And you're going to get about 25 grams of protein. And worst case scenario, Ariella, you could do 1 scoop of protein, you know, do a half shake, and then maybe wait 10-15 minutes, and then try to have, you know, your servings of, you know, your good fats, maybe with your 2 servings of low carb vegetables, and yeah, and throw some little bit of nuts or seeds on there, and that would get you there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Judy, you've had your hand up for a while.
Also, Mayada, well, like she's been politely sitting.
Diana's been up for a long time. Please let her go.
Yeah. I see you.
Matt, I would not have gone before you, I promise.
Thanks, Judy. Okay, I have a couple questions. I didn't get the Slack invite. I'm there. I can see myself there, but I'm not. I'm in the previous group. So
Oh, yeah.
Maybe,
No,
maybe
don't go
it's
there.
something to do with that. Yeah, I have to check.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
go there, Mayada, because Chris was there as well. She was in the last one. I said, there's no one there anymore.
I know. I was like, hello? No, nothing.
Yeah. Okay, just
So
wait.
that, please send me that. And
I'll be
I
there
have-
if you want to go into that chat group.
Yeah, you're gonna guys have your own little like subgroup.
Some group is like,
Nobody can see.
exactly, where we can bitch about the whole thing.
Yeah, it's graduates only, so you can guys talk badly about all these newbies and all that.
Exactly. Okay, here's my dilemma. And I remember getting stuck on that last time as well. So I know we're not supposed to drink with food. So when we have breakfast, and we only have 45 minutes to eat. So at breakfast time or the morning meal, if I want to have a coffee, when do I have a coffee and then eat? Like, what's the how much time? What do I do?
Yeah, that's the only time I understand. Everyone wants to have a coffee with, their cream or their milk. So I've said, yes, of course you can have your coffee with your first meal, and just don't have too many, and try to give it, maybe 10 minutes and then have your
And
meal.
then have the meal.
It
Okay.
just helps with, it helps with your digestion, right?
Okay. And do you recommend that everyone gets the keto enzymes? Like, is that going to help or is it just for specific situations?
For people who have, on their forms, they have gas or bloating or distension or maybe some heartburn, indigestion. And just there are some other symptoms that I can see, then I definitely recommend it. Or for anyone who maybe they don't normally eat 2 meals a day, or they eat very lightly and they're not used to this much, food. They're not used to eating a lot of healthy fats, then I would recommend it.
Okay.
But you're quite used to this, I think.
Yes.
You're good.
I think
So,
I'll be fine.
yeah.
Okay, last question. When you said if you're in a pinch and you didn't have time to do a proper meal and you can just substitute that with a protein shake, how am I doing the calculation? How much protein shake am I having?
Well, it depends on the protein shake you're using, but let's just say, for example,
So Andres.
Andre, how many grams of protein?
Well, I
per
think one scoop, it says there like 24 grams or something. So you would, if this is the only protein you consume in, definitely, 2 scoops in a tiny little bit to get to 60 grams.
Okay.
And then if you add like a cup of milk or soy milk or something like that, you're gonna get another 9 grams.
Yeah,
right?
so then you get 2 scoops and that
Okay.
liquid, and that's the bare minimum. If it's not super hungry, that's all you want. At least have that to
Okay.
give your muscle the amino acids that it needs for maintenance.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we don't, I don't want everyone doing that regularly, or because you're not getting your good fats, the fats you need to get in, and you're not getting the fiber, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. That's only in a pinch.
Well, ideally, we want you to have at least half your calories from actual food, right?
I agree.
Yeah, so
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. Judy?
Thank you. That actually makes me think of something. So tonight for dinner, there was no way a piece of solid food was going down this throat. It was just not happening. So I did a protein shake with 2 scoops and 3/4 of a cup of the organic Meadows or Meadow, whatever it is, plain yogurt.
Okay.
Don't gross out. I threw in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I made that all up, and then I forced down 14 cashews. So I'm barely sitting here like I'm dying. But is that acceptable? I have 3 questions. That's one of them.
You hit everything except for your low carb vegetables, right?
Okay, so I had like spinach, bok choy, red peppers, and something else, broccoli for lunch.
Okay.
So, but it has to be at each meal, right?
So ideally, right? I mean, and day to day,
Okay.
yes. I don't
Yeah,
want you to be-
normally I'll be fine. It's just,
That's okay.
it was a lot of food for me, but I think it will get better as the time goes on.
And you understand the serving sizes? You're good with that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Are you kidding? I've got my little scale out. I'm counting my 14 cashews. I know. Trust me. I'm good. Okay. Second question, and I'll be very quick. I have always taken my supplements in the morning with water. So will I be moving that now into the afternoon?
It depends on your supplements. So the vitamin D and if anyone taking omega-3, you
Yeah.
can take that in the morning with your black coffee or your
Okay.
it's fat, right?
Okay.
That's okay to take.
What about my electrolytes?
Your electrolytes, as long as they're clean, right? They're the LMNT, so that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. They're not LAM. They're Organica. 0 sugar, just vitamin C and magnesium.
Okay. That should be okay.
Sounds kind of
As long as
funny.
there's
Anyway,
some-
I'll figure that out.
Yeah. So you can just drink it with your, like, when you put it in your water bottle as you're sipping and it just throw some liquids.
Yeah. Okay. So last question, sorry, is you said that the protein powder, so make it with water after a workout, but if it is part of your meal, to make it with milk. So after I put in a scoop of collagen peptide as well, which is 10 grams of protein. Can I have that in the protein powder after a workout? Or should I save that only for part of a meal?
Collagen's fine because it's amino acids. Yeah,
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Welcome. No worries.
Yeah. So guys, to sum it up, this week is gonna be funny. It's a transition, right? You're gonna feel, a little bit weird, but it does get better. Don't cheat. Remember 3 main things to help you to fast adapt fast. Low carb, right? Don't cheat. Don't get any of those additional carbs. Be careful because you want to deplete the glycogen out of your liver as fast as possible. Second, exercise, particularly intensive exercise. I guess it's more, a couple more. Third, electrolytes. Don't forget about your electrolytes because if you're not, you will feel the effect of it, right? And the last, don't be afraid of fat, particularly this week, because you're giving your body, you're priming your body with signals. Okay, we don't have any carbs, but they have tons of fat, so let's start using fat for energy. And so those are the kind of the main things that will help you to fat adapt in the most efficient way possible. More fat, more electrolytes, low carb, intensive exercise. Speaking of exercise, I know most of you are clients of New Element Training, some are not necessarily. For those who are interested and we offer virtual training. So, if you would like to try that, you can email me directly. We also have online membership on our website at newelementtraining.com. If you're interested, let me know. And it's something like $9.99 something Canadian dollars a month. And it has all the exercises that we have in our book, The Fitness, which I co-wrote with my co-author and with partner of Allison over there. So there's in our book, The Fitness, there's a section at the end, how you can do those exercises on your own. More than welcome to give it a try. And if you want more directions, send me an email and I'll show you how to sign up for the membership. So you can watch those videos, during this program. Mayada, when are we having session? Okay, we'll ask you. I will bug you later.
I was waiting for it.
Did you disappear, Mayada?
What's that? Sorry?
Did you disappear?
I did disappear. Since I
you-
moved, I've disappeared. Yes.
Hope it's somewhere fun.
Well, I have 2 puppies, 2 big dogs, and I have 6 acres, and I'm running with the dogs every morning. So I'm exhausted. I'm tired all the time now.
Oh no.
So,
Well, the program's going to give you your energy back and it's going to
Yes.
balance it out, right?
but
You
I
felt that
still
from-
need that strength training. I do need it. So I need to get back on it. It's a time issue. because every minute is accounted for with these puppies.
Can you share what kind of puppies?
So the father is Black German Shepherd,
Ah.
and the mom is half Border Collie, half Great Pyrenees.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
I've always had Newfoundlands and Golden Retrievers, so I'm a big dog person.
Yeah.
They sound very smart, Mayada. They're going to be running the roost.
They are very smart.
Yeah.
Yes.
To the Border Collie. Does anyone have any questions regarding any of the recipes or how they, yeah, Allison?
Oh, sorry, this is not about the recipes, but just to confirm or clarify about the electrolytes. Should I take them with a meal, or could I take them in the middle of the afternoon with all the water that I'm drinking?
You can put them in your water and sort of sip it throughout the day in between meals, ideally.
Okay. And one BioSteel, that sort of traditional, do you know that one? It's got beetroot powder I saw in it, so that would be not good.
Yeah, if you don't have any calories. So if it's non-caloric, 0 calories, sure. If you have calories, then have it with the meal.
Okay, it has a tiny bit of stevia, but
Stevia is okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it. And then how long after eating should I wait before starting to resume my water consumption? Like I'm full, I can still feel my stomach right now is full of my dinner.
Yeah, so that's telling you to wait, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier. So you can drink fluids up till about 15, 20 minutes before a meal. But after a meal, I'd say you want to wait at least an hour, probably a little bit longer. Obviously, if you're eating, guys, and you're choking, you can have small sips. I just don't want everyone, throwing back cups of liquids unless they need a drink.
And I have one last question about pickles. Every jar I looked at was in vinegar.
So you have to look in the fridge. If you look on the shelf, they're all
Right.
none of them on the shelf.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure where you're shopping, but
I'll go to Fiesta or somewhere with a better selection.
because it's fermented in salt, and then it has to be in the fridge, and that gives you the live bacteria, the probiotic bacteria. And you guys already know you're going to be getting some digestive enzymes in the live bacteria, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Last night I made a steak, and I was inspired by one of your pan-seared recipes with garlic and butter. It was a winner.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, for those of you who have not done the program with us yet, I'm just pulling up the recipes, guys. I don't remember the pages of every single thing, but give me 1 second. So I just wanted to point out, for those of you who have expressed their sweet tooth and love of chocolate, there are a few of you, no names, but just to give you an example, the chocolate avocado pudding, you would never know it's avocados, okay? And it uses some monk fruit or spoonable stevia, and it's giving you, so that's a serving of healthy fat, right? So when you're looking at your healthy fat servings, if you don't feel like having, just nuts or seeds or cheese or something like that, you can look at some of the recipes that are sweet as well. So that would be a healthy fat serving. And avocados are great. I really want you guys to try to incorporate them when you can, as much as possible. One healthy serving of fat with an avocado is half an avocado. It's got lots of magnesium and potassium in it, right? And most of you, I would say 99% of all the forms, people need more potassium and magnesium, right? And so that helps with your blood pressure as well. Okay. Other things like the carrot cake balls are a huge hit. That's going to give you a serving of fat. For those of you who like cookies and stuff like that, we have the almond butter chocolate chip cookies. And those are a healthy serving of fat as well, right? So it doesn't have to just be boring. You can do as little or as much work into this as you like. The whipped cottage cheese dessert cups I already mentioned. The chia pudding is great because it's high in protein, right? It's going to give you 30 grams of protein. So for those of you who are saying to me, I don't want to eat, you have a cup of chia pudding, you don't want dairy, you can do it with a non-dairy, right? You don't have to use milk. Mitch, wink, wink. There's also high protein pancakes if you want to mix it up. The berry almond parfait uses yogurt and some of the nuts. You're going to get, 30 grams of protein there. So it's not as hard as you might think. Just glaze through them, sort of see if you see anything that you like. I also just want to mention briefly with the cooking oils, we want you to use olive oil as much as possible, avocado oil for a little bit higher heat. But I've had a few questions privately about, which ones to use. So, we know that most of the cholesterol is made in our liver, not through our diet. We now know that, right? But saturated fat does matter when we talk about heart health and longevity. So when people ask me what they should be cooking with in terms of oils, coconut oil is great, and so is organic or clarified butter. You just have to balance it out with, where am I getting my other sources of saturated fat throughout the day? So for example, if you love to eat, high saturated, animal products, which are fine, they're very good for you, great source of protein, then maybe don't use the coconut oil as much. Maybe use the avocado oil because it's unsaturated. So just finding that balance, right? If you were a vegan, I would say, well, use the coconut oil as much as you want because that's going to be one of your main sources of saturated fats. Okay. But if you're cooking with really high heat, then coconut oil and avocado oil probably your two best bets. Okay. And for those of you if you like dairy, or whether you like dairy or don't like dairy, using clarified butter, which is ghee, it's also a decent idea. Just balancing out how much dairy you're having, right? Okay. And the only other thing I would say about staying regular and the occasional constipation that comes with this transition, if you find yourself a little bit backed up, just have a look at, if you're having your fruit and your low carb veggies, you're drinking in between your meals and you're exercising, you're having maybe a little bit of fermented foods, but you're still finding yourself a little backed up, then just have a look at how much cheese you're having. Okay. It's easing back on that just a little bit can also help ease it as well. Okay. And if all else fails, magnesium citrate or the psyllium. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention for protein is, I know some of you like to buy the collagen protein powder, and that's fine. I highly recommend anyone who has the courage to make the homemade bone broth. It's not as difficult as it sounds. You just need a slow cooker. You just literally plug it in, put some chicken and some beef bones in there. And I include oregano, basil, thyme, and fennel. And the reason those are in there, guys, is because when you make the homemade bone broth, the one amino acid that's missing is tryptophan. So all of those herbs have tryptophan in them. Okay. So now it's essentially complete. And you can literally just throw the chicken and the beef bones together and throw in some, celery, carrots, parsley, cilantro. And the parsley and the cilantro is because it helps pull out heavy metals and toxins. And then you throw in the herbs that I mentioned to get the tryptophan, and you just walk away and you leave it there for 10 or 12 hours on low. That's all you have to do. And then when it's done, you just drain it, and you can put it into little separate containers, put it in your freezer, and then you can just pull it out every couple of days. Right? So it's a little bit of work up front, but it'll actually last quite a while. And you can get about 10 to 12 grams of protein per cup. Okay.
Is carrot okay at this stage?
Well, you're not actually eating it, right? So I want you to get the vitamin A from the carrots. So you're just gonna leave it all in there for 12 hours and see all of the nutrients are gonna end up in the broth, right?
Okay.
You just take it out and let it cool, and you're gonna get a fat layer on top. You're just gonna scoop off that fat layer and throw it out. And then you have this amazing bone broth full of collagen, full of protein. And if you don't want to have it all at once, like I said, you can use it for sauces, you can use it for cooking your chicken, you can use it in your, any sort of dish you're making. You can use it to sort of saute your vegetables, or you can just drink it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a great, even if you do it, I try to do it every 2 weeks. I'll make a batch. Just a suggestion. Yes, Ronnie.
You mentioned before that organic soy milk is a good option, but if you had to choose between that and milk, is there a preference?
Yeah, in an ideal world, you would use the organic milk, but not everybody tolerates it.
Right, and the organic milk would be a whole milk?
Yes, yes.
And can you just talk a little bit about the sorry?
At least 2%, Ronnie. Yeah, like 2% would be okay. I wouldn't do skim or zero fat.
Right, and same with cheeses, like fat cheeses?
Yes. Yeah. You want it to be as natural as possible, right? So Parmesan's great, real Parmesan. Just make sure it's, real Parmesan. Then most of the lactase is taken out of the Parmesan if it's done properly. Okay. Goat cheese is great. Sheep cheese is great. These are great alternatives for people who are a little bit sensitive to dairy, because sheep and goat, they have one stomach. They don't have 3 chambers, multiple chambers like a cow. It's much easier for you to digest than cow, right? Milk or cheese made from a cow. So the goat cheese is a good go-to. Feta cheese is good. Just try to make sure, that it's not from cow, right? You want it from the goat. So ask. Usually when you ask, they don't know, right? If you're in a restaurant, they won't know unless it's a Greek restaurant. But if you go to a store, they'll have it. Even Whole Foods will have some beautiful sheep cheeses that you can grind it up and put it in your food. It's delicious. Yeah. That makes a difference. Yeah. Mitch?
So Leanne, we bought pickles yesterday from a Polish grocery store where the pickles were sitting in buckets of water and you tong them out. Should we be storing them in water and salt, or do we leave them just in the little container without?
Were they fermented in salt?
They were fermented in salt, not vinegar.
Yes, sour.
Full
Full sour pickles.
Full sour pickles.
Okay. Yes. Did they, so they didn't give you any of the juice, right?
No, we didn't, we probably could have, but we just tonged them out of the containers and put them in this. What should we be doing when we get them in the future, and what should we do with this batch currently?
You want them in the fridge, yeah.
Yeah, so we got them from the fridge. It was a refrigerated area.
How long have they been out of the fridge?
They've been in the fridge the whole time, so just the car ride home.
Oh, perfect. So you put them in the fridge as soon as you got home.
Correct. We're just wondering, do we put them in moisture or leave them dry like this? Does it matter?
Like that. Yeah. As
Like
long
this
as
dry is fine. Okay.
in the fridge. Yeah. Perfect.
Awesome.
I was just worried you had them on your counter for a day or something like that.
No.
They're no good. Get rid of them.
No, this is just for show and tell. Chris, I said, get the pickles. I want to go.
Good job. There you go. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions?
It's probably good enough for information to absorb for the first time.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, guys. Well, I'm around tomorrow, as you know. So if you have any questions at all, just send me a message and we'll take it from there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye now.